Welcome everyone to the NGEN Markets. So as though we all have joined in this today's session for NGEN Markets training session, and today we are going to discuss about some new features of NGEN Markets and the updates we are going to have. So before we are going to start with the session, I would like to know if my screen is visible and my voice is audible to every one of you. So you can just type in the chat box if it is audible and visible. And other than that, before going ahead, I would like to state that Engine Markets is going to be completely gonna be updating new features down the line for the next couple of months and years. And we are gonna completely innovate the functions which you require by the feedback looping. And then, we are gonna also have a Q&A session with all the participants who are here, and hopefully this session will be very fruitful. So let's go ahead with the session. I'm just sharing my screen up. Okay, I hope the Engine Markets portal is visible to every one of you, and let's go ahead and let's start with the updates. The number one update which we have is the version 4.01. So what is version 4.01? Engine Markets has released couple of functions which are going to be very useful for you as an advisor. One of them is that we are going to give you complete webinar sessions and the training sessions, and these demos, the recordings of the demos are uploaded into the YouTube. So in the YouTube, all you have to do is you have to click on this and a new tab in YouTube will be updated. So here you can see multiple playlists, as you can see here. So I actually request everyone to subscribe to our channel, and you can click on this bell button so that you can be updated whenever we release some new webinars, whenever we release some new functionalities. So within the webinars what we are having right now, we have released all those webinars which we have uploaded. So you can definitely come and view those webinars very freely. And we also have the functionalities which we are updating as on going basis, and this will be very be useful for all of you to know those functionalities in Engine Markets Premium. So let's go back ahead into the Engine Markets. Our first update with Engine Markets is actually into the fund section here in the category averages. So within the category averages, the main purpose of category averages is about is my voice audible to everyone?
Yeah, man. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. So the main purpose of category averages is to actually compare different categories altogether within the category averages. So you can select some multiple asset classes here. Now, the main thing here is we have updated value at risk historical and value at risk implied into the category averages. So what value at risk does is it is a value at risk model which helps you to know that if there is a what is the 5% probability to have that particular risk into that category. So this averages out all those categories. Let's say we go for a flexi cap fund. So you can click on this and you can see accordingly that the value at risk of Invesco India flexi cap is negative 16.35. So now my main thing here is that if I want to compare this particular value at risk historical with the flexi cap category average, I can directly compare that. It is similar to the peer analysis which we have seen into a fund analytics before. And what all we have to do is we have to click on it and see the underlying value at risk historical which we have updated here. So this value at risk historical is based on the historical returns, and the value at risk VAR implied, which is written as VARI, is based on the historical volatility. So this all means that there is a 5% probability to have a drawdown of that particular figure which we have given here. So this is the first update we have into the category averages, and the next update we have, it's there into the funds compare. So within the funds compare, as you can see here, is So I think there is a audio breakage here. If you can let me know the audio is audible to everyone.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah, it went off for a couple of seconds. Yeah, just continue. If it doesn't, then we can think of something else.
So let's go ahead with another one. So here we have another functions and update here is that we can see the compare tab here. So you can add in multiple funds in the compare tab. So let's say I am adding one of the list here with the mid cap funds. So within the mid cap funds we have added 2 years return and a price column. So as you can see here, there is a price column given here and a 2 year return as well here. So this is the price column. This is an NAV column basically. You can add in multiple indices as you please, and you can also add in multiple securities as well, custom securities. So if you add a portfolio similarly, that works out as well. So if you add a standard proposal, as a matter of fact, it will show you the price of those funds which are there in that underlying portfolio. And here, as you can see, the 2 year return is also added as well. And now, one of the most important thing which we were talking about, into the last previous session, that one is about the customizable column. So we have updated a new column which is called as show and hide columns. So all you can do here is you can click on this, and all you can do here is you can select your customized column as per needed. So let's say I'm just unselecting some of the columns such as MTD. I'm removing 1 month, 3 months. I can remove some 7 years, 10 years, 15 years. And let's say I'm removing tracking error and info ratio as well. So these are the columns which I can use with my own flexibility to analyze those particular mutual funds all together. So that is what you can do in this update. So we have updated this, and in the timely manner, we have recorded that many of the financial advisors has given us this update that they wanted a customized column here, so we have added that as well. So the next one is that you can actually see the benchmarks. So for the benchmarks, what we have given here is that we have added 3 benchmarks. So here, if I'm adding one fund, let's say Access Mid Cap Fund, so in that particular fund we have added 3 benchmarks here. One is Nifty 200, another is Nifty Small Cap 250, and the third one is Nifty Mid Cap 150. So as you can see, Nifty Mid Cap 150 is updated here. Then we have also given Nifty 200 here, this one. Once you click on this, you can change the benchmark to Nifty 200. And we have also given a Nifty Small Cap 250. So if you can just scroll in, and you can see that Nifty Small Cap 250 is also updated here. This benchmark can be used even in a portfolio analytics. It can be used even in a fund analytics, as I'm showing you here. And this also can be used for a stock as well. So you can use these 3 benchmarks. We have added them up, and this is going to give you more flexibilities in changing those benchmarks. And already we do have a custom benchmarking, so you can add those new benchmark into the custom benchmarking, such as Nifty 200 can be added, and you can add it couple of with other benchmarks which we already had into this section of our benchmark. So this can be added. Once you add the benchmark, you can save the custom indices, and that can be used as your own hybrid indices for your portfolio analytics or any such fund analytics as well. Next, we have uh, as you can see, we have a monthly SIP column. So in the monthly SIP, what we have done is we have added, indices. So for indices, what you can do here is you can add in multiple indices. So let's say, one indices and see the, monthly SIP. So let's say you're adding Nifty 500. So now you can do the monthly SIP for Nifty 500. You can add in your own installment, such as 10,000. You can have your own start date. You can have your own end date, and you can run this SIP. So once you run this SIP, you can see the XIRR, the installments, the invested value, and the final value for the same. And the dates, as you can see, we have given a monthly SIP breakdown in the left side. The statistical data is updated here with the units invested and the value. And here we have given the graph, which is showing you the SIP value, the invested value, and the NAV value as well. Similarly, if you want to make a report of this Nifty 500, all you have to do is you can click on this multiple pager report. So you click on this and a multiple pager report can be updated. So here you can see the Nifty 500, updated here with the monthly SIP basics. And here we have given the XIRR of that particular index. Then we have given a monthly SIP breakdown as well. So as you can see, this is the detailed report of an SIP. If you want a very simplified report, all you can do here is you can just click on this. This is a one pager report and the SIP report can be generated very easily. So this is the one pager report with the details which we have given here. One more thing about SIP is that whatever graphs you choose, so let's say you just compare only SIP value and the invested value. The main functionality of NGEN is being very dynamic when you make any reports. So if you want to make a report with this only two parameters, all you have to do is select these two parameters and run this PDF report. So once you run this PDF report, this is also visible in other tabs as well, in fund analytics and even in portfolio analytics, that whatever you select, it shows you in a dynamic way that only that particular parameters will be shown into the report. Even when you zoom into some particular graph, that will show up to you as well. So this is how the SIP report we have updated with the index SIP here, and you can use it for even for global indices. So it works for any such indices which we are given in, and we have a huge pool of indices here. So you can just scroll in and use any of the indices to to see what are the actual XIRR of those indices. So now let's come in with another function which is called as overview sub tab. So we have a new when you have a portfolio analytics, when you come into the portfolio section, we have a sub tab which shows you those asset allocation. So when you run a model portfolio such as this, you can see the asset allocation here. So here in this, we have given an overview. So in this overview, all you can see is a basic view with equity, debt, and cash. As you can see, it is just this basic overview. You can click on those overview and see those exposures all together. You can click on I button and you can see the exposures from, which mutual fund is giving the HDFC Bank exposure. Let's say you want to have a detailed view. So you can click on this detailed view and you can see other detailed view as well. So let's load in another, portfolio altogether to see another asset allocation where we have a different pool of securities so that we can compare it very easily. So as an example, if I'm loading an asset allocation again, you can see here we can only see equity and cash. There's no debt. And if I load in a detailed view, you can see the reverse repo and fixed deposit as well. So you can easily click on reverse repo and you can see that these are the exposures of reverse repo, and you can click on this and you can see the exposures from them. So which mutual fund is giving the TREPS exposure, that can be shown as well. And by the way, I already spoke up with this detailed analysis, like the dynamicity of this portfolio here is that whenever you create a PDF report, if you choose in detailed view, the PDF report will show you the detailed view. And if you choose in, the non-detailed one, which shows you only equity, debt, and cash, in the PDF, it will show you only those exposures into equity, debt, and cash. That is how this works out. So whatever you choose, that report will be generated into a PDF PDF report as well. So if I'm choosing that non-detailed one, you can see the non-detailed report already updated here. So this is how this works out into any such report, and also for a PowerPoint report. And then we have another one, the uh, in the detailed view, you can see the second level exposure. So if I load in some another portfolio altogether, let's go for another portfolio here. So this is the portfolio I'm loading again, and in this portfolio, as you can see, there are some different types of securities updated here. For that, you can even add in the asset allocation as well. So let's go for another one, which is a PPT, which is this is one of the biggest one which we have here, where you can load in a PPT PowerPoint report. Now, as an example, when you make an asset allocation for any such portfolio, your main purpose is to see, what is the asset allocation of this four or five funds which we have into this portfolio. Now, when you create a report, you see normally into percentage formats. Okay, we have 50% there in equity, UTI flexi cap. We have 25% in UTI mid cap. So what if you create a report with which is having the amount in crudes in capital? So all you have to do is you have to click on this PowerPoint report. And as you can see, see the percentage based PowerPoint report, which we already had before. And there's another one, which is amount based PowerPoint. This is the new one, which we have updated. So this will actually show the amount which we write in this enter capital in rupees. So let's say I'm investing 1 crores into this particular portfolio. All I have to do is type in the 1 crore and click on this create PPT. So once I click on this, the entire PowerPoint will be generated. So it will take a bit second. And then once it is generated, we can see the customized view of this model portfolio, which we have created. So all you have to do is you have to click on it. And once it's updated, you can see the PowerPoint report. And this one will have a capital, which I've already, which I'm already intending to invest into this particular portfolio. So as an example, you can see in the left side, the capital is 1 crore, which is invested. So, we have a customized report. As you have already known, you will have your own company's name here as a co-branded report, and you can see the asset allocation. So for me, as I can see here, my holdings, 50 lakhs of my holdings are there in UTI flexi cap, 25 lakhs in UTI mid cap. So this is just a simplified approach. I've added only 4 funds into this portfolio. You may have 10 funds in the portfolio. So here, this particular amount will be, a very game changing when you are presenting it to your client, because you're showing a capital in crores and lakhs, that this is the set of amount which has been invested into this particular fund, into this portfolio. And we have also made a drill down approach where your capital is injected where. Like for example, is it in equity? How much is it in equity in HDFC Bank? So as of now, if you are investing 1 crore into this particular portfolio, you will invest 3,65,245 rupees in HDFC Bank, and these would be your top holdings altogether. So this is how you can make a decision, and even your client can see that you are making a decision for your client with the amount invested in lakhs and crores. And similarly, you can see the overall asset allocation in lakhs. So basically, if you have a very much of an equity portfolio, you can tell your client that 97 lakhs of his amount is actually going into equity. And then we have 2.15 in cash, 0.13 in debt, and then in mutual funds. So if we have a debt portfolio, or if we add in some debt securities, definitely the figures will be definitely be very different. And you can see from here that your position concentration, so where I'm concentrated more into. Like for an example, if your client is asking you, if I'm investing 1 crore into this portfolio, how much exposure will I have in large cap? Maybe you can say it in percentage format, but by looking at this figure, you can tell your client that 49.59 lakhs of your rupees will go into large cap, and then 36 will go into mid cap and small cap. This is how you can use this lakhs, and this is how you can use this capital to show your client that this is the presentation you can make it to your client. And it will be very beneficial when you show such a presentation. The next one is an equity sectors. And this is also a very useful use case where you can say that your 13.48 lakhs is in banking sector. Your 12.55 lakhs is in IT software. And this is going to be a very game changing when you use capital in rupees to generate the PowerPoint report for your clients. So this will this will be very one of the most important things which we have given here already. We have also shown you the performance statistics and the rolling analysis, which will stay in percentage anyway, which because it is it is more viable to show you in percentages, and also the drawdowns as well. So it will stay in percentages in the losses as well. But this is going to be a very much of a game changer when you use this particular PowerPoint report to present it to your client. So these are the, one of the major updates we had with NGEN Markets portal. There are few couple of things which I would like to discuss is that whatever we are gonna update, it's gonna be, very futuristic. It's all regarding the feedback looping which we have with all the customers. And every time whenever we update, we are gonna have, one of the best functionalities and one of the best analytics to give you and to deliver it to you. So this is it for the session, and I would like to start up with the Q&A sessions with everyone so that we can have your questions answered.
Can I ask a question?
Definitely, sir.
My name is Chandru. My one question is, in the debt hybrid funds, the allocation towards the the debt side or equity side varies according to the market valuations. So how can I know this? How much was the allocation in the month of December? How much was the allocation? How the allocation going to increase and decrease in the debt and equity in any of the debt hybrid fund?
So if you're talking about a particular mutual fund and how the allocations have increased or decreased, you can, you can load up any fund. So may I just click on any fund, analytics, and then let's just show the positions over time page with sectors.
Yeah. I can see the AUM increase, total AUM, but I'm not able to see the the allocation towards the equity and debt in the debt hybrid product.
So here we show you holdings over time by sector, not as equity and debt, although we could possibly include that here as well. But here what you're able to see is how their allocation to various different sectors has changed over time. You can see this by security as well, but this view that we're looking at as is basically, so that's a security view, and you can see it for the last 12 months.
This is really informative, but the only thing which I'm not able to understand, for example, in the market is the peak time, higher valuation, how much was the equity equity holding of that particular fund, and market is looks very attractive, cheap valuation, how much was the equity allocations, and vice versa the debt allocation also. This is very important.
Yeah. Here what we could do is like you have two options. One is to show by security, one is to show by sector. We could possibly add another option which would be asset class. Umair, if you just come to overview for a second, here if you see equity, debt, cash, other, these overall categories that we have, the non-detailed overall category,
it will show only for the current month. It will show current month, but it will not show the historical one.
Yes. So so if we make this change, we will give you another option where you can see the evolution of these categories over time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sir, in this position by month or position over time, so if you could actually position over time, if you could actually reverse the date, can it be in a decreasing order? Not in this position over time.
Yes, yes. I believe this was already mentioned earlier. We definitely we've got it in our list. So this is definitely going to get done in one of the coming releases.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
This investment in gold ETF or gold fund of fund, don't you consider this as a separate asset class?
Yeah, I mean, we can show things in whichever way you need to, but are you talking about a direct investment into gold mutual funds or?
Yeah, gold funds, fund of funds, basically, which invest in gold ETFs.
Yeah, so the thing is, right now what happens is, Umair, if you come to overview, every holding that we receive data for mutual funds comes with a type. So if you click the detail view, so this is the type.
Yeah.
So now the thing is, if it's a gold mutual fund, it will come into a category which is called Indian mutual fund, right? Now, the issue is that we could possibly do something where if it's a mutual fund, we check whether the category is gold or something, and then put it into the gold bucket instead of the Indian mutual fund bucket. That's the only way we'd be able to do it. Right now, what will happen is if a mutual fund has exposure to other mutual funds, which happen to be gold mutual funds, they are all going to show up in the Indian mutual fund category.
Right. So what is actually happening is when we are trying to create a client portfolio based on asset allocation, when we consider gold fund as a separate asset class, it doesn't show up separately. What is the overall allocation of gold as an asset class in the portfolio? It is shown as a part of overall mutual funds. So it's become little difficult in demarcating how much money is actually going into gold. And probably likewise, we have now silver ETFs, silver funds of funds which are also coming up.
So we will have a look at this. If the mutual funds that it's investing in are clearly marked as gold funds with a category name or something like that, then I believe that is something we'll be able to do. That should be okay. But fine. I mean, we'll definitely take a look at this.
Sure, sir. One more feedback is that many of the funds are not still properly categorized within the platform, sir.
Okay. Do you have any example? We can check it and we can obviously follow up.
So some value funds, some infrastructure funds. I would suggest if you can go through them once.
Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. We will get it checked. Yeah, no problem.
Sure. Thank you.
So in one of the funds, if I'm trying to change the date of when I started the investment, so I'm unable to do that. So could you help me out with that? Any reason?
Yeah. So usually when this happens, I'll tell you. So this is a fund that's from 2006. May just change the benchmark to, I think, small cap 250 or something. So basically, you'll only be able to run it if the benchmark also has data. So let's see what comes from this. So you see, now we've chosen small cap 250. That index only started in 2016. Now, if you try to change the date, it will not change. You will have to first change the benchmark to something that has data for that long.
Okay.
So if you change it Nifty or something which has long data, then it will go back.
Okay. So currently I was looking at Mirai Fang Fund. So I was trying to change the period of amount invested.
Okay. Umair, can we check that out? What's it? Just Mirai.
FANG, if you could just type that, that would be also okay.
Which one? Plus ETF?
The growth one.
Okay.
Yes, the second last.
Yeah, okay.
In this?
Yeah.
Let it get low. Yes, so I'm trying to, so the benchmark here is Nifty TRI, okay?
That's fine.
Okay, and now if I'm trying to change the start date over from here, from the fund performance type, so I'm not able to change that. So supposing I want to put it from like August or September, I'm not able to do that.
Okay. So may I just come down to the chart and see where the start date of this fund is?
Give me a moment.
So you're looking at performances from May to 2021, right? In this view. And you want to change it to what?
September
2021.
Yes.
Okay, so just choose a custom date here.
Okay.
That works out.
Okay, I was trying it out from fund performance side.
You might have, if you have chosen, September, you should click on one particular date instead of just, choosing this. So if you
I was choosing it from the fund performance tab, which is down below.
From the performance tab, you mean
the value of amount invested from, I was changing it.
Oh, acha, no. So sorry. So that's just a label. So that the start date can only be changed in the top left. And when you change that, this will also change as a result. That's just a label. So that's not a selection.
Okay. Oh, got it.
Hello, sir. Sir, can we see the return that over a period of time the benchmark the fund has given?
Yeah, ideally you can check it in the fund section. Point to point would be the best if you want to, because here you can add funds, you can add an index also all together in one list, and you can change the dates here as you like.
Can we check for one fund like SBI Focus Equity Fund?
I'm sure. Yeah.
For 1 year perspective, for the year of 2021.
Okay, so we can do 1st Jan 2021 to 1st Jan 2022. There it is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you can add an index to this list also, if you want.
Yeah, a benchmark.
Yeah, you can add any benchmark, and then you go back to point to point.
The benchmark is S&P BSE 500 Total Return Index.
Yeah, so you can add any benchmark you want,
okay.
And then after that you can go here to point, and it will show.
Okay, sir.
Okay. We have a question about dynamic asset allocation where the arbitrage exposure doesn't show. So yes, we are, we are aware of this issue. We have spoken to our data provider, CMOTS, about it. As soon as we receive that information, we'll start showing it. Currently, the derivatives positions, the shorts, if you will, those positions are not, shown to us. As soon as they are, then we'll be able to show you a net equity exposure. Currently, they don't show you. We are unable to show you net equity exposure. But again, it's we're waiting for the data providers to respond with a solution. We've just got another saying, can we have 1 week return and analysis of funds? So is it one thing is in the funds compare list of the fund list. We are going to be very soon adding a 5-day return here. So that's definitely in the list. So you should, Umesh, just go to the fund list.
Yeah, give me a moment. Sir.
Yeah. So yeah, you can see your month to date, year to date, 1 day, 1 month. So between 1 day and 1 month, we'll get a 1 week. But just to be clear, 1 week will be 5 working days. That's how we will term it. I mean, we will calculate it. So we will see it there. There's another question about please guide how to check drawdown data. So if you have any fund analytics open, then. Yeah, so the drawdown section, this is quite unique, but again very useful. What you see here is the price of this fund over time, and then what we do is we go through a calculation, we go through a process which calculates the worst 10 loss periods that have happened during the life of this fund. And in the chart, if you look on the chart, they're marked in gray background. So the period of the loss through it went. And so now you can see what Umair has done. He's zoomed into that loss, and that's the gray period. And it starts at a little peak that was made. Now, if you imagine yourself being back then and having no information about the future, this would look like the current drawdown of this fund at that point, because the further prices obviously hasn't happened yet. That's the future. So every drawdown is calculated in a way that you were back there in time. So, and then you see the final bottom, which means that that's the point where the price stops to drop any further. And that's the period of the drawdown. That you see the percentage losses here in red, the worst 10 losses that have happened. And then you see, when it started, when it ended, the price also at that point. And then finally, pretty useful to see how many working days it took to recover that loss. And recovery means the price has to go back up to that peak that it started falling from. And when it goes back to that peak, that's when you know that the recovery has happened. So, yeah. And so okay, the question is, can we check drawdown of a category's entire fund list? So yeah, so this is one of the slightly longer term items we have. We can definitely do it. I think the issue is how do we display it? It is almost certainly, when we do it, it's almost certainly going to come in the fund compare section, kind of like rolling analysis. So we might not show you all the top 10, we might show you the top 3 worst or something, because obviously if you have a long list, it will be a lot of data to show in one place. And in terms of drawdowns, I can tell you there are a couple of things that are on the menu which we are working on right now. One is that in this page, we are thinking of somehow including a drawdown analysis of the benchmark as well. So without cluttering it up too much, if you've run a fund and you've selected a particular benchmark, hopefully if we can sort out the display issues, then we will show you two drawdown analysis, hopefully in one chart. If not, maybe side by side, we'll think of some way. So that's one thing that's happening. And the second, which is what you asked for, is to look at many funds drawdowns in one place. That is this visual solution we're trying to find for the compare section, but both are definitely on the list.
Any other questions?
If there are no further questions, then I think we can close up for today.
Okay. So thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much for attending this demos and trainings seminar. Before closing in this entire session, I would really recommend every one of you to check our YouTube channel, as I've stated here. We are gonna come up with lots of videos for you, so that you can test the entire videos. You can use it as per needed, as your own comfortable timings. And this is gonna be very helpful for you. If you are using the platform, you should use it at its utmost potential. So obviously we are gonna add a lot of videos. And thank you so much. Let's meet again next week with a new topic and a new session. So have a nice day, everyone. Thank you.